Welcome to Around the World in 50 Days. Of course, it's a play on Around the World in 80 Days.
Love that.
It's about getting people who travel, but it'll be a spin where you are talking about your home country so that we could inspire persons to visit other countries, but travel like a local, not just rely on the whole top 10 things to do. I am repping your place today.
I love it. Me too. You just can't see it.
So, just to give everybody a brief introduction, I know that you are born and bred in Jamaica. Give everybody an introduction of Book of Sins.
Hi everyone. So I'm Cindy, also known as Book of Sins. I am a Jamaican. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I've been living in Trinidad and Tobago for the last 9 years. But yes, I'm from Jamaica. I started my platform, Book of Sins, to talk about books and reading Caribbean. And that kind of spiraled very slowly because it's now like 1 year into like traveling and experiences. So if you want to read, if you love reading, and if you love traveling, I am trying to like merge the two. I also have a reading retreat within the Caribbean. So there's also that as well. So all around reader, traveler. I'm currently on a 70-day African tour. So by the time this podcast comes out, I'll be 15 days left in the tour. So y'all can come and join me on whatever platform and see what I got up to.
Yes, as you mentioned that, I actually came to your Dominica retreat recently, and y'all, trust me, I'm usually a solo girl. Probably if I'm traveling, somebody else, just one other person. But I don't really do group trips, but this group trip blew me away. Like, I've never connected with people like I have here. I always tell people, Cindy's good vibes, good energy will rub off on you. So let's get into it. Jamaica. How long you lived there? At what point did you move and start traveling the world? And I know you're 51 countries and now.
Yes. I mean, I grew up in Jamaica. I think I left in my 20s, in my mid-20s. So I've been there for a long time, and I do go back home basically every year. And spend like a solid month or two, or until I'm fed up of being at home with my parents. So it's time to go. But yeah, so I've been Jamaica. I also like recently, and by recently I mean last year, went on a media trip to Jamaica. So it was so lovely being a tourist in my own country. So I'm really excited to give those recommendations on what to do, especially in Kingston, because a lot of people are like Montego Bay, and I'm like, there's also Kingston that you could get a lot of things done.
As you said that, like my first time to Jamaica, actually. So I have a really good friend, a real kindred spirit that lives in Jamaica. And she took me to this place, which I would kind of call, how Trinidad has down the islands.
Yeah.
There was somewhere like we went, I think it was like on the way, like if you're going back to Kingston Airport, but there's like a little port area or it's like
we went to Lime Key or Maiden Key.
Yes, Lime Key. Lime Key is the name of it. And I found that was like really beautiful. Like, I mean, like, again, I came on a work trip actually. So at first I was in Ocho Rios, and then I came down to Kingston after the whole work aspect. And she took me there, and I was like, yeah, it's just as beautiful as the other side of Jamaica. Yeah.
I agree. There's some really nice gems in Kingston for sure, if you have like the time and the effort to like actually go and do it.
Okay, so what would you recommend? We could go through by city, because I mean Jamaica is I think you have to go through by parish. Like, it have no, like, at least for me, like I've been 4 times. To me, there's no top 10 things to do. Like, you have to do by parish. Things to do in Portland, things to do in Negril, things to do. Yeah. So like, other than, let's say, Bob Marley Museum, like, no, that's most people when they go to Kingston, it's like, okay, I have to go to Bob Marley Museum. What else would you say, like 3 things as somebody who's lived there that you would recommend somebody to do in Kingston?
I always recommend going to Hellshire Beach, because I love food and I love fish. So going to Hellshire and having, you literally get to choose which fish you want, and they cook it for you right on the spot, and the beach is right there. You have to have it fish and bami and festival, and you have to have it with a cola champagne. Like, you cannot have it with anything else. And I would recommend that. And if you're in the area, you could literally go to the beach that's next door. It's called Fort Clarence. But yeah, so that's something that I highly recommend always, to go to Hellshire and spend the rest of the day by Fort Clarence. And I do recommend, if you love history and food again, I recommend doing the Devon House tour. So you get a tour and you get to hear about like the history and like just a monumental part of Jamaica's history and culture. And this building is like in the middle of like the city, or you just pass it so many times. It's good to go and learn about it. And after the tour, or included in the tour, is ice cream and the house party. So it's worth it. And my third thing is, if you love nightlife, I recommend going to Dub Club on a Monday night. It's very much like the reggae scene, the roots rock reggae scene. If you want to know who's up and coming, if you love Jesse Royal, if you love Chronics, if you love all of those people, Protege, that's where they kind of got their start. I would recommend going there for an easy breezy Sunday evening. The views are amazing at night. It's a skyline. You get to see all of Kingston, so that's something as well. And if you have time in the day, definitely a day trip to Maiden Key or Lime Key. Walk with the cooler and you're good to go. Those are
For
things that I would
sure.
recommend. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to Dub Club actually.
Yeah,
There's
it
always
starts really. It's on a Sunday night. It's on a Sunday night, so it's like, should I be here? Because I have work tomorrow morning. Good,
well, I
good.
mean, if you're there, you'll be on vacation vibes. So
Yeah,
should
you're right.
have
You're right.
time. All right. So next up, so outside of Kingston, where would you say somebody has to go in Jamaica, like the other parishes?
I'm between, oh my word, this is hard, but
Yeah, I know.
you have to go to Negril, you have to go to Portland, and you have to go to Treasure Beach. That's it. But like Portland remains my top favorite place. It's so beautiful. It's off the beaten track, I find. You have the lagoons, you have waterfalls, you have beaches, you can go and hike. Like, it's everything in one spot, and it's the home of jerk. So like, again, if you love food, that's literally where jerk chicken was invented. If you love history as well, there's a maroon village that you could go and do like a whole tour to hear about the maroons and how they escaped enslavement and how they helped with the freedom of Jamaica on a whole. So that's what I would recommend. Definitely Portland. There's so much to do. Free if you just want to relax, if you want to go adventuring, there's so much to do. So I would say Portland.
For sure. Like my first time to Jamaica, it went like I went to Ocho Rios the first time, then well, of course, Kingston, then Montego Bay and Negril. I think Strawberry Fields. I can't remember where Strawberry Fields is, which parish.
Yeah, it's Saint Mary. Yeah.
And then my last trip for my 30th birthday, I went to Portland. So like something I was like, I'm turning 30 and like Jamaica was calling me. Like literally, like, I don't know, that's how I travel. Like I just go by wherever my heart is like feeling to go. Like I'd say the place calling me. Usually I would want to go somewhere that I haven't been before.
Yeah.
I was like, no, like Jamaica calling me. So she took me to Portland and I fell in love. I'm an adventurer at heart. Like at that point in time, I still had my little adrenaline junkie kind of in me. So she carried me to Reach Falls, and I did the whole, Alice in Wonderland jump down the rabbit hole part of it. And I kid you not, like about 2 days after, this guy, I'm not sure if it was the tourism board or but a video was posted on IG, and because what happened, the video she took of me, I took a while to come back through the other exit after I jumped through. And so you could hear her in the video, I'm like, where are you? Where are you? It's very dramatic.
Like, I'm not about to call your mother to let her know anything happened to you. Come out.
So this guy does this video and he was like, this is the appeal of Jamaica. People come here and imagine they're willing to risk their whole life to bust their head and to go Reach Falls.
I still haven't done that. Big up to you.
I was like, is this coincidence or did this man see my video? No, like, I agree with you. All of that to say, I agree with you. Portland is stunning.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you made it to Reach Falls. But yeah, there's a lot to do. I recommend it so much.
So, a next very, very hard question. Although, from what I remember, you seem to be a little bit of a picky eater. So, So it might be easier for you. What is your favorite Jamaican food?
Oh my word. I'm gonna have to say Hellshaw. Like I love going to Hellshaw and having the fish, like the fried Hellshaw fish. I've never like the only other place I've had where it's even comparable was Cartagena. But other than that, like Hellshaw fish remains top tier. So absolutely Hellshaw fish and Bamiyan Festival. My second thing, like honestly, I love a curry goat. Like curry goats with white rice or rice and peas. We are in the dance. Like absolutely love it. And I love breakfast food. Like it's something that I absolutely love. And I don't know if you know, but Jamaicans have a very heavy breakfast. So like if you love porridge, there's cornmeal porridge, there's oats porridge, there's hominy corn porridge, like every single porridge, there's peanut hominy porridge. You have fried dumpling, and you can have it with a mackerel rundown, callaloo. Like my mouth is watering. I'm so happy. So honestly, like breakfast food is in and of itself an experience. So I would recommend like also doing a breakfast while you're in Jamaica.
I'm convinced that Jamaicans just sleep after every meal.
Absolutely. We have to. What? After that, rest.
And you know, it's funny that you say curry goat because a lot of people, like, I mean, from the get-go, there are different curries all over the world. Like Thai curry is different to Indian curry, is different to Trinidad curry. And then you come to the Caribbean and it's like, okay, Trinidad curry is kind of slightly different to Jamaican curry. It's like, I know you'll also do a lot of goat. I will agree with you. Like a Jamaican curry goat is top tier.
I think so. Like favorite thing.
So, you know, a lot of people, I know you get this sometimes, this you don't sound Jamaican. Especially, you know, when us Caribbean people start to speak in proper English. Like,
yeah.
But other than the typical ones, like I think people like that are really expecting you, like in every sentence, to say bumbaclat and teach us something out of the ordinary than what people may see on TV. What is a Jamaican saying that, like from the dialect, from Jamaican dialect?
I should have thought about this more. I would say like I think we say bless up a lot, like bless up or bless up yourself or big up yourself, like as a means to say thank you or you know you get through kind of thing, like wishing you good blessings kind of vibes. I think that's one thing that we say a lot. I think we do say things like what is for you can be on for you.
Yes,
like,
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, can't not be for you. We do say chicken Mary hot than air. So as a child, like if you're too happy and like chicken Mary hot than air, and that literally
chicken Mary hot
hawk
a hawk chicken
Mary
chicken Mary hawk
then air
okay
then air. Yeah, so there's that as well as kind of like a warning, like hey,
calm down.
Yeah, calm down. So that's what I would say. But there's not one Jamaican dialect. There's not one Jamaican tone. So to everyone who's like, you don't sound Jamaican, please give us a rest.
A chance.
Right? A chance.
So if someone is visiting Jamaica, how long would you recommend that they stay for? Let me split it up like a first timer and a returnee.
I feel like if you're coming for the first time, I would say a solid week. I feel like a solid 7 to 10 days would be great. That would be amazing. If you're returning, then I would say stick with like 7 days. Like you get to go somewhere and stay there for the entire time, or visit 2 places and stay there for the entire time. So that way you're like, okay, cool, I get to see a lot more of the island. But if you're coming for the first time, 10 solid days would be great for you to like get to visit 2 or 3 places, and then when you come back you can be like, okay, I love this place, but also let me see somewhere else.
I find Jamaica has, outside the big, like all-inclusive resorts that you may find like in Montego Bay and Ocho Rios, I find that a lot of beautiful boutique hotels.
Yeah.
More than most other Caribbean islands. What are probably 3 that you would recommend?
So for Treasure Beach, they have beautiful villas. So if you love villas, that's amazing. But there is Jake's Hotel in Treasure Beach that is absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite properties is Rock House in Negril. Like absolutely love that property. In Portland, G Jams is really lovely, but I would it be a boutique hotel? I'm not sure, but like that's where I stayed and I love it. But then there's also like the Tree Hotel in the jungle of Portland, and it's really beautiful. So I'd recommend that as well. So as Amari says, there's so many nice, beautiful boutique hotels that you won't go wrong, and the service is exceptional always.
First time I was in Jamaica, stayed at Rio. I think it was Rio we stayed at. And like, I mean, it was great. I mean, great service, whatnot. They had these shows at the night. Jamaican Michael Jackson come out. And I'm like, the real like cliche, like,
having worked at a very big hotel chain in Jamaica and all of those things, I'm like,
yeah. Like the Jamaican Michael Jackson took me out. And then when I started to visit my friend more, and she took me to like, more boutique hotels, you actually really get more of a feel of Jamaica.
Yeah, I think so.
And even like the food is like exceptional.
It's not
like outside, yeah. It ain't hotel food. Like it'll blow your mind. So, what is your favorite thing about your country? If you can't say one, you could say three things.
I would say my favorite thing is I think the Jamaican Tourist Board tagline is like, once you go, and tell you, I feel it's one of those things that once you go, you're like, oh, I get it now. But I would say the people, and I absolutely love that you could leave Kingston and you feel you're on an entirely different island. When you're in Portland, it's totally different from Ochi. It is so different from Treasure Beach. So you're just always leaving to go somewhere different, and you really feel like you're leaving the hustle and bustle of the city and going somewhere else. So that's what I would say. Those are my things.
Going country. It's like
country. Yeah.
What are some tips you may give somebody who's traveling to Jamaica?
I would say if you're going by yourself or if you're going with like 2 or 3 people, I would say get somebody local to like take you around. Do not stay in the hotel for the entire time. Please go out, touch grass. I would also say don't just stay to one city. Try and visit at least 2 different cities. If you can try and see Kingston because it's totally different. And I know we're always like, we shouldn't do the same tourist things, but Dunn's River Falls is worth the hype and worth the tourist line, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I just have some travel questions for you that I'm asking like everybody. What is your must travel with item?
My phone.
Your phone? That's a good one. I feel like that's okay, fine. No, we have to go again. Other than your phone.
Good sneakers, good walking shoes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Any brand in particular?
I wear my Converse and Asics. So I'm between those 2 and Birkenstocks. So like, honestly, those 3, you're covered. Birkenstocks, Converse, and Asics.
Okay. In terms of like, so you've been to 51 countries now. Any advice in terms of like how you get cheap flights?
Not really, honestly. I think I use Google Flight Search and be like, okay, cool, this is the cheapest deal, let me go here. But I'm generally guided by like, oh, you have somewhere to stay. Like someone will be like, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll find my way. So, but I do use Google Flights a lot to like check prices and all of that. But then I book directly from the actual airline because third party.
No. Thank you so much for coming on here. It was a joy always. For anybody who's interested in going to Jamaica, we're a Caribbean place, we're tropical. So any time of the year is great. If you go on skyscanner.com, you would realize that in the month of January, this month, like from Miami, you could get flights round trip as cheap as 195 US. From London, Gatwick, 222 US. And JFK 165 US, and these are all to Montego Bay's airport. Definitely try and cash in on those really cheap flights to go. It's insanely cheap. Skyscanner.com. And if it is like you're using miles, like I use One Wheel Alliance. I have my miles with American Airlines. If you're going from North America or the Caribbean to another North American place or another Caribbean island, it's as cheap as 20,000 miles round trip. If you're coming from Europe, it'll be 60,000 miles round trip. Again, thank you so, so much for coming on here and being my first one.
So much for having me. Like, I love talking about Jamaica and traveling. So this is amazing. Congrats on the podcast, and I look out for the next 49 episodes.